Hey, Brandon. So I was watching this clip and it really got me thinking about how much history actually shapes our present. Like, the speaker in the video just cut straight to it, right? If folks really grasped their history, they wouldn't, he says, they wouldn't be so easily manipulated. That's a heavy start, man.
Absolutely, Michael. It's not even a debate, you know? The idea that if you understand where you've been, you can see where you're going. And more importantly, who's been steering the ship all along. He puts it so bluntly, saying history's actually hidden from us, and for good reason, right? Because an educated, aware population is, it's dangerous to a corrupt system. They know that. It's just basic logic, isn't it?
Dangerous, yeah. But you don't.
Hey, Brandon. So I was watching this clip and it really got me thinking about how much history actually shapes our present. Like, the speaker in the video just cut straight to it, right? If folks really grasped their history, they wouldn't, he says, they wouldn't be so easily manipulated. That's a heavy start, man.
Absolutely, Michael. It's not even a debate, you know? The idea that if you understand where you've been, you can see where you're going. And more importantly, who's been steering the ship all along. He puts it so bluntly, saying history's actually hidden from us, and for good reason, right? Because an educated, aware population is, it's dangerous to a corrupt system. They know that. It's just basic logic, isn't it?
Dangerous, yeah. But you know, it almost sounds like conspiracy-ish to some people, doesn't it? The idea that history is deliberately hidden. But then he connects it to knowing your enemy. That's pretty compelling. So for you, what's the biggest takeaway from that initial point? Is it just about knowledge or something deeper?
Oh, it's definitely deeper. It's not just knowledge for knowledge's sake. It's about connecting people to the reality of their own history, the good and the bad. Because when you understand that, then you start to recognize patterns. You realize that, hey, these folks, the systems, the power structures, they haven't changed their playbook. They've been doing the same things throughout history. And if we're constantly in a state of amnesia, we just keep falling for the same old tricks. That's the real danger, Michael.
Right, so this idea of amnesia and like fake implanted memories, that's wild. He says your enemy is constantly telling you he's your friend. That resonates, honestly. It's almost like they're spiking the drink of the entire nation, you know? Keeping people numb. What do you think about that analogy, Brandon?
The drink spiked analogy, Michael, it's brutal, but I think it's incredibly apt. He's saying, look, everyone's getting roofied, basically, right? The very system that's abusing you, keeping you numb and unconscious, is the one presenting itself as your protector. It's really the ultimate gaslighting on a national scale. And because you don't remember anything, you believe him. You believe that protector figure because you're conditioned to. It completely disarms the population, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's really dark when you put it like that. And then he goes on to say Uncle Sam is a serial killer, the most prolific psychopathic mass murderer in history. Wow, that's a pretty strong statement, you know? How does that connect to the idea of deliberate amnesia? Is it just to prevent us from seeing the full picture of Uncle Sam's past actions?
It's all part of the same strategy, Michael. If you don't know your history, if your memory is wiped, then how can you even begin to question the narratives fed to you? How can you look at historical events and see the patterns of behavior, the repeated injustices? The power structure has a memory, and they're just running the same play. So they need to keep us from having that memory. It's not some natural cycle. It's deliberate, consistent behavior. And they won't change unless we change, right?
So if history isn't naturally repeating itself, but it's actively being made to repeat, that's a whole different ballgame. It means there's agency behind it, right? And he says that's exactly why they've perfected wiping out our memory, to keep things the same for them. How does that manifest in everyday life for the average person, beyond just history books?
It manifests as total distraction, Michael. He says they keep us like a crackhead, right? Desperate for short-term gratification, constantly seeking a hit of propaganda, entertainment, or distraction, anything to help us forget the reality we live in. Complete memory blackouts, mood swings, volatile, erratic. It means we can't cope with reality, so we sell our dignity for some temporary relief. They don't respect us, just like a drug dealer doesn't respect a crackhead. They treat us any way they want, and we accept it because we're chasing that next hit. It's insidious.
Wow. So it's like we're constantly caught in this loop of seeking immediate gratification instead of addressing the root problems. That's a really bleak picture, man. And he links it back to Allah's statement that a people's condition won't change until they change it themselves. But if we're in this crackhead state, how do we even begin to make that change? How do we get out of that cycle? That's the mission, Michael, to educate, awaken, reconnect people with their true history. Because the power structure, it has a memory, and that's why they want to make sure we don't. They neutralize us so that history does repeat itself, because they're the ones making it repeat by just continuing to do what they've always done. We're talking constant, uninterrupted oppression, violence, exploitation, predation. It's static, unchanging. The first step is realizing we're in this state and rejecting the false narratives.
Okay, so shifting gears a bit, the second video dives into the crisis of masculinity, right? This idea of men not being men. What's the connection there to all this manipulation and historical amnesia? Is it just another symptom, or is it like a deliberate tool itself?
It's absolutely a deliberate tool, Michael. What Boylston argues is that the masculinity crisis and the online political ranting we see, even among westernized Muslims, it stems from a fundamental lack of responsible decision-making and duty. People project their personal ignorance onto geopolitics, acting like childishly judgmental rulers. They think acting on impulses, being volatile, that's manly. But real masculinity, he argues, involves patience, planning, anticipating consequences, choosing actions wisely, all things that are systematically undermined.
So it's not just a societal issue, it's like a deeply personal one that then spills over into our political discourse, right? The refusal to take responsibility for one's own actions and then expecting leaders to act based on childish whims. How does he propose this crisis is actually engineered? What are the mechanisms? Precisely. He states it's an engineered
Okay, so shifting gears a bit, the second video dives into the crisis of masculinity, right? This idea of men not being men. What's the connection there to all this manipulation and historical amnesia? Is it just another symptom, or is it like a deliberate tool itself?
It's absolutely a deliberate tool, Michael. What Boylston argues is that the masculinity crisis and the online political ranting we see, even among westernized Muslims, it stems from a fundamental lack of responsible decision-making and duty. People project their personal ignorance onto geopolitics, acting like childishly judgmental rulers. They think acting on impulses, being volatile, that's manly. But real masculinity, he argues, involves patience, planning, anticipating consequences, choosing actions wisely, all things that are systematically undermined.
So it's not just a societal issue, it's like a deeply personal one that then spills over into our political discourse, right? The refusal to take responsibility for one's own actions and then expecting leaders to act based on childish whims. How does he propose this crisis is actually engineered? What are the mechanisms?
Precisely. He states it's an engineered condition, particularly in America. The mechanisms are subtle but pervasive. It's the constant diet of hyper-individualism and consumerism that hollows out psychological resilience. When identity itself becomes a brand, people lose their intergenerational anchors. They're left with an endless inward-focused drama of self-optimization and grievance collection. This isn't accidental. It's the fuel that keeps the entire system running. A population spinning in circles, screaming into the void, completely disconnected from real collective power.
That makes a lot of sense. He really paints a picture of how modern engagement is actually engineered to be ineffective, like social media, protests, even electoral theater. They're just outlets for venting emotion without ever converging into coherent collective power. So people feel radical, he says, by posting black squares, but nothing actually changes, right? It's just a spectacle.
Exactly, Michael. It's all pre-formatted. The algorithms amplify each new unforgivable issue just long enough to polarize friends and families, exhaust emotional reserves, and create new lines of internal division. Then, when the expected spectacle arrives, it's discarded for the next one. We're left with the catharsis of having cared deeply without ever having done anything that truly matters. He calls it manufactured emotional chaos, the West's most successful innovation in imperialism.
Manufactured emotional chaos. That's a powerful phrase, man. So in this context, even pushing for things like boycotts or divesting from, say, US-Israeli relations, he says the algorithm shifts and the conversation is just buried. It's like a hamster wheel of outrage, but the real levers of power remain untouched. What do you think is the ultimate goal of this kind of social control?
The ultimate goal, Michael, is to keep a restive, atomized population spinning in circles, completely distracted and disempowered. He makes it clear. The entities that owned the country in 1945 still own it today. Emotional instability isn't a side effect of modernity. It's the central mechanism that keeps this machine running. It's a win-win for them. If we don't react, they achieve their aims without resistance. If we do react, they can always launch a scorched earth campaign or pivot to the next manufactured crisis, further cementing our irrelevance. We're being pushed towards utter irrelevance, you know?
Wow. So then he gets into this really stark prediction about the West's future. America de-developing, de-industrializing, impoverished, conflict-ridden. He even says the downfall of America is perhaps the most deserved downfall in history. That's a hard pill to swallow, man. Why such a harsh judgment?
It's a harsh judgment, Michael, but it's consistent with his argument. He sees this as the logical outcome of a society that has become incurable.
Wow. So then he gets into this really stark prediction about the West's future. America de-developing, de-industrializing, impoverished, conflict-ridden. He even says the downfall of America is perhaps the most deserved downfall in history. That's a hard pill to swallow, man. Why such a harsh judgment?
It's a harsh judgment, Michael, but it's consistent with his argument. He sees this as the logical outcome of a society that has become incurably unserious. We've been engineered to lack the ingredients necessary to make anything work. Farms are going under, the economy is spiraling, people are being terrorized, surveilled, and the worst part, we think it's all just drama, or that it'll blow over. But it won't. We drove off a cliff, not hit a pothole. This isn't about Trump or any single administration. It's a deep-seated trajectory. So we're being told that jobs are being cut due to AI, but he says most are just moving overseas. It's like another false narrative to mask the real economic shifts, right? And he says AI is actually bad at doing real work. That contradicts, like, popular belief. Is this another example of implanted memories or just a misdirection? It's absolute misdirection. While our economy is tanking and our society is being openly terrorized and kidnapped, we're distracted by debates about AI. He says American culture has warped our personalities to the point where no one can even stand each other, let alone unite for change. Reproduction is undermined, relationships are strained, and the cost of raising children is astronomical. He's saying we're being engineered out of existence, pushed into a captivity of irrelevance. It's not just that America is declining, it's being dismantled by the very forces that once claimed to protect it. So if the West is decentering and whiteness is no longer a priority for the power structure, what does he suggest people, especially white people, should do? You know, he talks about the privileges being revoked and how they need to be readjusted or re-educated. Is there like a positive path forward in his view, or is it just doom and gloom? He says the most privileged people in America, white people, need to be strategically dealt with. They're being baited into standing up for whiteness, so they ruin it for themselves. The irony, he says, is that white nationalism is just another tool for their own destruction, pushing racial conflict to accelerate the dismantling of American power. He sees a future where America is marginalized and unimportant, nothing more than a wasteland. So the path forward, according to him, is individual seriousness, not for social change, not for America, because America doesn't care about you. He urges people to be serious for themselves, their families, their communities, because that's the most important ingredient, and it's the only way to escape this deserved downfall. No more time to waste, Michael.
Wow, Brandon. No more time to waste. That's a powerful and, frankly, quite sobering conclusion to everything we've discussed today, from the engineered amnesia to the manufactured chaos, and this ultimate call for personal responsibility amidst a seemingly unavoidable decline. It feels like a very stark, individual choice we're all being presented with now. Absolutely, Michael. It's about recognizing the true stakes. The systems won't change on their own, and external fixes are often just more distractions. The real work, the fundamental shift, has to start within ourselves, securing our own households and communities from the encroaching irrelevance. That's the only genuine resilience left. And on that incredibly important note, one that really makes you stop and think about where we go from here, we unfortunately have to wrap up our discussion for today. That's all the time we have for today's conversation, but join us next time and remember to like, share, and subscribe. So until next time.